friends. Today we're going to be reading a story called Rufus Goes to School. This story is by Kim T. Griswell. Every day, Rufus Leroy Williams III turned the pages of his favorite book. He looked at every picture. He made up stories to go with them, but he could not read the words. The other pigs are playing, and he is trying to read. Rufus knew just what to do. He would go to school and learn to read. But first, he needed a backpack. Early the next morning, Rufus scuttled down the street to school. He peeked through the front door. All the other pigs are waiting at the bus stop, watching Rufus. Then he trotted down the hall to the principal's office. He was greeted by the principal's secretary. Principal Lipid's secretary knocked on his door. "There is a pig here to see you." Rufus stepped forward. "My name is Rufus Leroy Williams III, he said. "I have a backpack and I am ready for school." The principal shook his head. "No pigs in school." "Why not?" asked Rufus. "Because pigs track mud in the halls," said Principal Lipid. "They turn their drawings into airplanes, they play leapfrog in class, and they start food fights in the cafeteria." Rufus frowned. "But I have a backpack." "Makes no difference," said Principal Lipid, and he showed Rufus to the door. Rufus Leroy Williams III really wanted to go to school, and he knew just what he needed: a lunchbox. Right before lunchtime, the secretary poked her head into Principal Lipid's office. "The pig is back," she whispered. "My name is Rufus Leroy Williams III, he said. "I have a backpack and a lunchbox. I am ready for school." The principal folded his arms. "No pigs in school." "Why not?" Rufus asked. "Because pigs knock over the block towers," said Principal Lipid, "and they hide under the teacher's desk. Pigs draw stick figures on the chalkboard." He wagged his finger at Rufus. "And they chase their classmates during recess." "But I have a backpack and a lunchbox." Rufus frowned. "Makes no difference," said Principal Lipid, and he waved Rufus out the door. Rufus Leroy Williams III really wanted to go to school, and he knew just what he needed: a blanket. He's looking in at kids having nap time, probably in preschool, and he thinks a blanket will get him into school. During nap time, the secretary opened Principal Lipid's door. "Sir?" Rufus Leroy Williams III rushed right past the secretary. "I have a backpack, a lunchbox, and a blanket, and now I am really ready for school." The principal sighed. "I told you, no pigs." "Wait," said Rufus. What's he gonna tell him? I will never blow bubbles in my milk or finger paint my classmates. I will not stand on my head during nap time or leave nose prints on the windows, and I will come to school every day. Sorry, the principal shook his head. No pigs in school. But I have a backpack, a lunchbox, and a blanket, said Rufus. Is that all? Asked the principal. Rufus frowned. What else could he need for school? I have this. Rufus held up his favorite book. And I want to learn to read it. Ah, Principal Lipid smiled. That makes a difference. He escorted Rufus out of his office and down the hall. This is Rufus Leroy Williams III, Principal Lipid announced as they entered a classroom, and he will be joining your class. Hooray! Shouted the boys and girls. Rufus Leroy Williams III put away his backpack, his lunchbox, his blanket, and his favorite book. He was ready for school. Thank you. Rufus loved learning the ABCs, especially the letter P for pig. He loved learning the 1, 2, 3s. He loved lunchtime and nap time. That sounds like you, Oliver. You would love lunchtime and nap time. But Rufus loves story time most of all. So all the kids are listening, but Rufus is over here right by the teacher so he can see the story. Because it gave him room to dream. Here's Rufus, and he's dreaming about being a pirate pig. And the last page is him back on the farm at sunset, and he's looking at his book. I like the back cover of this book too. There's a class picture here, and Rufus is in it. Now, Oliver came to school with me last year at the end of my school year with my 3rd grade class, and Oliver really enjoyed his time, but he did have to take a nap. He got very tired, and he went home before lunchtime, but he really would have loved lunchtime, I bet, because pigs do like going to school, don't they, Oliver? Thanks for listening.